to ask, what made you choose design as a career?
I don't know what made me choose it, but I know that I had an uncle, no godfather, who was a graphic designer. I think I was about 13 or 14 at the time, and it just sounded really cool because he was saying he was designing book covers and record sleeves and things like that, and that really interested me. I always used to draw. I always used to like draw type and little type compositions, and so it kind of just made sense at that point.
So that is the most appealing thing for you, just to put your ideas.
Yeah, just playing with type. It's like looking at my work now. It's very type focused, and it's never been a conscious decision, but it's always something that's there in the back of my mind. It always starts off with a bit of play with type or something like that, and that's kind of how I always was as a child, drawing letters rather than drawing, still life or anything like that. I was always, that sounds weird now saying it back, but I was always just drawing type, drawing my name on paper and stuff like that. So
would you call yourself as a type designer or graphic designer?
I don't think that's for me to say. I think I'm still a student of graphic design, I guess, and people can probably see that there's a focus on type, but there's a lot of things that interest me. Like I'd say I'm an artist as well. I make neon things, and so I guess it's always type focused. So I guess I must be a type designer, and I've designed a few typefaces and stuff. So yeah.
Because I know you worked in Sheffield for a bit.
Yeah. I worked at
Why did you choose Leeds as a city to base your design studio?
Well, throughout my working life, I wanted to be in Leeds. The other places that I worked on were just places that I went to get a job, I guess. I worked in Nottingham as well. The back of my mind was always a plan to come back up to Leeds, and I think because it seemed like a big city, small city, but it had a big sort of a big idea. It seemed like it was going to be going places. So I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah. So. What do you think about Leeds as a city?
I have a love-hate relationship with Leeds, and I think, I don't know why that is. I think it's a city that has a lot of potential, but I don't see it always fulfilling its potential. There's a lot of money here, and I think if that money was better invested within the arts and design and stuff like that, then I think it'd be a much more engaging, interesting city for the people that come here.
So you think that money is there, ideas is there, but nobody is kind of there to push it?
I think there's little pockets of people pushing it, but I think there's no real leadership. Like cities like Manchester have got creative directors within the departments, and they're trying to push it to make it a better city. And I think Leeds gets caught up in its whole, well, we're a financial city. We've got a lot of that sort of thing here, and I think it just needs to focus a little bit more on other things.
Yeah, I read on your website about that you try to push boundaries about graphic design.
Mm.
In your opinion, where do you think that traditional boundaries ends in graphic design, and where they start?
I think it's well, that's a difficult one. I guess boundaries can be interpreted, can't they? Whether it's a personal boundary of someone just constantly working in print, or working within the same sort of media. Whereas, I guess what I mean by that is everything that I do is pretty diverse. I get bored with routine, so I like to change things a lot. So I don't like to do the same thing over and over. My working process is probably the most routine that I ever have. But I always like to try new things. So whether it's creating new typefaces or creating a different medium for me to work in. It's not always on paper. It's not always online. It's everything. So like that's for me. That's the boundaries. Is the box that it's contained within. I like to play outside of that box. If that makes any sense.
From previous projects and leads, which one stands out as your favourite one, and why? Because I know you've done a couple of projects in Leeds.
Yeah.
About Leeds, in Leeds. Which one is your favourite?
I'm just trying to think what I've done. I think the Junction project was quite an interesting one. I don't know if you saw the artwork that we did on junction boxes around Leeds. It was a bit of a street art exhibition.
Yeah.
It had loads of different artists creating pieces of artwork on these junction boxes.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and that was.
And there's a couple of photographies on some of them as well.
Yeah, and I think it was just a really interesting mix of people, and even just down to the print of being able to do that. And, you know, it was out of the traditional boundaries of graphic design, but our piece, the guy that I worked with on ours was an artist, is an artist, I'm a graphic designer, and we kind of used the two things to produce a piece of graphic design, but it wasn't in its traditional means. It wasn't a piece of print, it wasn't online, but it was it was a really interesting project. And again, the ones that I've enjoyed the most are the smaller ones. I worked with Moira from Situation Leeds. That was one of her projects, and then she did another project for bringing the Quay brothers, Key brothers.
I was
the Dormitorium project, and that was just a really simple piece of print, but they were really open to a bit of experimentation, so that kind of really interests me.
When I was a first year, I took part of our overworlds, underworlds.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah, and we did the junk orchestra.
That was in
them.
In the Arches, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really interesting, and I think they're really good artists.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that interests. The thing that interests me is anything in Leeds is anything that is different, new. Even down to the bookshop that I did the branding for, Colours May Vary. You know, they were offering something new to Leeds, and that was kind of interesting being part of that. You know, it was something that I was quite passionate about in terms of having somewhere to go and, you know, buy nice books, look at things, get inspired. So that was another one that I haven't done that many with Leeds actually. I think that's a bit of a shame.
Transform.
Oh jeez, yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was a good one as well. Again, that was the same guy that I worked with on the Junction project, where we do challenge the sort of graphic design aspect, the type application of ideas, and that Transform was a good one.
Yeah, in Transform responds to Holbeck. Which other project responds to other parts of Leeds or the city? Which areas in Leeds have you inspired the most?
Have I inspired, or have they?
Yeah, you inspired the most of. It's like because Transform is about Holbeck. Is there in other areas of Leeds you inspired?
I guess I don't think so. I mean, again, the Junction one is this sort of financial district. That was quite interesting as a juxtapose of having those artworks within sort of the financial district, because you never get anything like that there. So it kind of made people stop and look, and so I guess that was one of them.
If you could go back in time, which design era you would go back and why?
Can I choose not to go back?
Yes, you can choose not to go back. But if you had a time machine built somewhere,
I wouldn't go back. I'd go forward.
You would go back. You would go forward.
Yeah, because I like reading about the stuff that happened. So I not really got any interest in going back, because, you know, the nostalgia of reading about it and the way people have viewed it would be it's far more interesting, I think, than going back and then experiencing it. For me, so I'd go forward and see see what's happening, see if I'm worthy and if I should just give up now.
What advice would you give to me and other people who are graduating from graphic design and arts courses? Because they're going into the big world after they're finishing.
Yeah,
What would you give
I think
maybe?
I think the biggest thing is to to not let people defeat you. If you're passionate about something and you know you can do it, don't let people tell you that you can't or that you're not good enough. I think that's the main. That's what I tell people that come and see me is, just keep grafting because it will happen. I know it took me a year after graduating from my college course to get a job, and it is really soul destroying because you end up applying for jobs that you don't really necessarily want, but you just want a job. And for me, I think the best thing is to tailor your portfolio to people you want to work for. Don't just apply for jobs anywhere for the sake of getting a job. You've got to market yourself. Imagine yourself as a brand, and why these companies or whatever that you want to work for would buy into you as a person. And if you understand yourself right, then you can market yourself, and you'll get snapped up.
I got some other couple of questions to ask. What is your opinion about Leeds as a capital of arts? What is your opinion about Leeds as a capital of arts?
I don't know if it is it?
Because a lot of people try to push it up and say, because the things happening in Leeds as well. So, what do you think? Is it capital of art or is it not capital of art?
I'd say it's not. I'd like it to be. I think it's a. I mean, with the Tetley opening, I think it might help things. I certainly think it'll be a destination for the arts, because obviously there's places like that outside of Leeds, like the Hepworth in Wakefield, which is it is an amazing place. Not just in terms of the work that goes there, but architecturally it's interesting, and I think once Leeds does things like that, it's got a few interesting architectural things, but I think it could be. I think it will be. I don't think it is yet. I think it's got a long way to go before it is.